Good afternoon and welcome to Patriot Paths. My name is Lake Green and today we are in Richmond County, New York, also known as Staten Island, one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. And right behind me is our site of interest today, St. Andrew's Episcopalian Church. Founded in 1708, it was chartered in 1713 by the Queen of England at the time, and it has been operating continuously, as I said, for over 300 years. A lot of local Staten Island history here, and we're gonna check out some graves and learn a lot. So let's check it out. Bell's ringing. This church, as I said, was founded in 1713. Native New York fieldstone was the construction. You can see the mortar and the variations in the sizes and shapes of the stones. That obviously this was not, a imported material. Most of the materials here were pretty much dug up from the ground and used to construct the building. And in 1713, Queen Anne chartered the church, and at the time of the Revolutionary War, of course, New York City was taken over by the English in 1776. And Staten Island, or Richmond County, was very loyalist. So this was a hotbed of a loyalist Tory sentiment during the Revolution, and the British Army stationed or garrisoned on Staten Island made this church their headquarters during their stay there. In 1783, evacuation day occurred and the British left. But nonetheless, still an important part of the history of this building. So here's a little plaque. The Church of St. Andrew was founded in 1708, and the first church building was completed in 1712 on land given in 1711 by William Tillier. In 1713, Queen Anne granted the church a charter and presented valued gifts, including a chalice and paten. First rector was Reverend Aeneas Mackenzie. During the American Revolution, skirmishes initiated by the American forces occurred in the vicinity of this church on October 28, 1776, and on August 8, 1777. The church has been twice razed by fire, one on March 29, 1867, and again on October 16, 1872, but the original walls remain. And it's been served by a distinguished line of clergymen, among them Samuel Seabury, consecrated the first American bishop in 1784. Wow, very interesting. So here's the plaque on the side of the church. 1776, in memory of the patriots who, under General Hugh Mercer, who died at the Battle of Princeton, crossing from Perth Amboy, surprised and overcame the enemy on this spot on October 16, 1776, taking 20 prisoners. Besides arms and ammunition, 2 of the Americans were killed, and Colonel Griffin and Lieutenant Colonel Smith were wounded in action. Placed in 1913 by the Richmond County chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. And right here, as where we're standing, is the family burial plot of St. Elizabeth Bailey Seton. And so, Reverend Richard Carlton, Mary Bayo Charlton, Richard Bailey, Catherine Charlton Bailey, Mary Bailey Post, and Dr. Wright Post. So right here is Mr. Bailey's grave. Died in 1801 of a fever. But look at the architecture, look at the glass there and the engravings. So, a Revolutionary War battle right on this site, a little skirmish. So much history here. Alright, so our first grave of the day is so interesting. Here lies the body of Walter Dungan, Esquire, age 57 years, deceased July the 25th, 1749, I would say. I think, yeah, 1749. So, Dungan, if you're from Staten Island, would know that there's a neighborhood in Staten Island named Dungan Hills. The Dungans were amongst the earliest settlers of that area. So Walter Dungan here hails from that lineage. And Esquire means that he was certainly or possibly a man of law. So he was either a lawyer, a magistrate, or something. So Dungan, early family on Staten Island, neighborhood of Dungan Hills still bears the family name, and a very interesting piece of local history. In memory of Abraham Egbert, aged 89 years, and I can't make out the months and days, 8 days, with happy, I can't even make that out, but he was born on March 19th, 1777, and died on June 27th, 1866. Why am I showing you this? Egbert is the name of a middle school on Staten Island, in Midland Beach, the neighborhood of Midland Beach. So the Egberts were also amongst prominent early family members of Richmond County. Very interesting. Oh, first veteran, Timothy C. Benham, captain in the U.S. Navy, 1793 to 1880. Obviously, this is a replacement stone, but that was a captain in the War of 1812, I assume. So, thank you for your service, and may he rest in peace. Another prominent early family, Reverend William P. Curtis, rector of St. Paul's Church, Tompkinsville, died August 21st, 1854, aged 45. Blessed is that servant in the Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Curtis, the family, another early prominent family on Staten Island. Curtis High School still bears the family name. So, rest in peace, Reverend William Curtis. This one is quite interesting. So this is so hard to read, but it is William M. Van Name. He was I can't even read that. Company G, 2nd New Jersey Infantry, veteran of the Spanish-American War. For those of you not familiar with the geography of Staten Island, this is literally the most southern point in New York State is Staten Island, and it appears this gentleman who presumably lived on Staten Island was a native. Van Name, which I know there certainly is Van Name Street on Staten Island, so could be after his family. Decided to fight in the Spanish-American War and enlisted in the New Jersey Regiment. Probably just crossed the Arctic Hill, which is south of here, and went into New Jersey and enlisted in the local regiment. So, in the memory of Edward Perrine, departed this life February the 26th, 1818, age 26 years, 1 month, 5 days. Here lies in a loving husband, dear father. It's so hard to read. I can't read the rest. But I mention this because the Perrines were another early family in Staten Island with that surname. And the oldest house on Staten Island, the Billow Stillwell Perrine House, that still stands today, built in the 1640s by a Dutchman with the last name Billow, was then, of course, inhabited by the Perrines for many generations. I think almost 100 years after Staten Island became part of the English colony of New York after New Amsterdam fell. So a local early member with the house that still bears the family name. And fun fact, I have to add it in, my family, my last name Green, my family's been on Staten Island for about 150 years, more or less. And my family, my great-grandfather, Mr. Vincent Green, grew up in the Billow Stillwell Perrine house. Yes, my family was the last to live in that house before it became a museum, so it means something to me. But very cool. What an interesting gravestone. Number one, look at the marking. Look at the puritanical design, the angel's wings, and it looks like that could be Mother Mary, actually. Her face, I don't know what that is. But here lies the body of Jeremiah Stanton, Esquire, so another lawyer, or man of high standing, born in England I cannot even read. Lynn Regis in the county of Norfolk, January the 5th, 1734, who from his earliest days, having devoted himself to the service of his country, supported with honor the respectable name of his ancestors after the conquest of, I cannot even read that, Martinica, his health being impaired by the vicissitudes of a toilsome life. He retired from the army, having served as a captain in the 60th Regiment, Royal American Regiment of Foot, ever since his creation, and died on the 23rd of September, 1771. Louisa Teresa, his widow, has erected this monument to his memory. So, an early English settler of Staten Island. May he rest in peace.